One thing that often gets overlooked is that autism doesn't just affect how we experience everyday life. It can profoundly affect how we experience grief. And we're going to talk about that today. Hey, Define Yourselfers. I am the Confident Autistic. You can call me Chris. And this is another video in the Confident Autistic Journal series. The Confident Autistic Journal is my video blog of my life as a late diagnosed autistic adult. Today, I want to share with you my first wedding anniversary without my wife, and I want to talk about autism and grief. If you're new here, welcome. On November 26, 2025, my wife of more than 22 years was taken from me by breast cancer. June 7th would have been our 23rd anniversary of our marriage, and the first one I will be experiencing without Kim. Autistic people often experiences change differently. I think we can all agree with that. For me, 22 years, my anniversary has certain meanings and routines for me and Kim. Now the routines are gone. Now some of these routines were we always made something big out of that day. I cannot think of a year that we did not take a day off from work on our anniversary. I don't think we ever worked on our wedding anniversary. I cannot recall that. And we would always do something special. Whenever possible, we would travel. And I really miss traveling with her. We would have a playlist of songs that we would play whenever in the car. We had a USB stick and we would play. And it started out with the song from Cars, Life is Resco Flat, I believe his name is. Life is a Highway or something to that effect. I don't have the name in front of me, but we would kick off with that. We would play Convoy by C.W. McCall, and we would play Vacation by the Go-Go's, and a whole bunch of other songs. It was like our traveling soundtrack. I still have that somewhere. I've not been able to listen to that since, but I do have that here. And we most anniversaries, whether we were in town or we were traveling, we would go and have dinner at Applebee's. That was one of our favorite places to eat. So we would usually do that. Some years I barbecue because the weather was nice now, but most years we would go to Applebee's and get waited on. I mean, it's our anniversary. We should be pampered a little bit, right? Now, for me and for other autistic people, the loss isn't just only the person. It is also the loss of the patterns, tradition, and expectations. Excuse me. For many autistic people like us, routines help us make sense of life. My anniversary just wasn't a date on the calendar. It was something Kimberly and I shared every year for more than 2 decades, and something I looked forward to each year. Sure, I kind of struggled with what to get as a gift. I'll tell you, on our second anniversary, which is cotton, I got this tall cylinder thing, glass cylinder thing, and filled it with 731 cotton balls for each day we had been married, for the first 731 days of our marriage. That's what I did for our second wedding anniversary. Now, significant dates can be very difficult for us. And I'm no exception in this significant date of the anniversary. Of all the things I went through since she passed away last November, this seems to be one of the harder ones. I mean, I'll be honest with you. My birthday, which was 3 weeks after her passing, was difficult. Christmas was a little bit hard. New Year's was hard. The anniversary of our first date was hard. Valentine's Day was a little bit hard. 3 weeks ago was the anniversary of the 24th anniversary of our engagement. And that was hard, but this seems to be the hardest for me. And this is not uncommon for those of us on the spectrum because significant dates can hit especially hard. Many of us, autistic adults, prepare ourselves for holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries intellectually, but are surprised by how intensely the emotions arrive when the day actually comes. So we plan it out. I mean, I look forward to, like I mentioned earlier, I look forward to our anniversaries each year. Looking forward to spending time with Kim, wanting to do something special. He has a little challenge, like I mentioned, to come up with something new each year, but I loved it. And a little bit later, I'm going to share with you a little bit of my favorite anniversary memory, but stay tuned for that. Now, one thing that I'm experiencing is anticipatory anxiety leading up to the date. So all this week, probably since Tuesday, Wednesday, I knew the date was coming, and it really started hitting me hard. I mean, and I had a few memories replaying in my mind. Not a lot. Some people have more, some don't. That's fine. But I did have, and I do have some of those going on in my mind. But what really hit me the hardest is difficulty concentrating during the days that are leading up to the anniversary. I, as you will see today, the first actual video that you see since Kim's passing. I've only done lives. It's my first one. And Monday you will see another video that I recorded yesterday. But it took a lot of effort to record because I would take breaks because I would break down and cry because I know the anniversary was coming and I was trying to reconcile it in my head. Now, during an anniversary, when you lose a loved one, and this is from myself as well, memories can be extremely vivid. Many autistic adults report that memories can feel almost present tense. I don't feel that right now. Memories are so fresh to me, and when I see it, I can actually feel like I'm there at that moment. Maybe that is considered present tense. When I think of present tense, I think of it happening at this moment. But in the memories, I feel like I'm transformed back to that moment, and I feel the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings I was having when it originally occurred. Now, some of my favorite wedding anniversary memory. This is my favorite. I said I would tell you it. And this happened on our 10th wedding anniversary. On our 10th wedding anniversary, we went to St. Louis, which is where I'm from. I love visiting St. Louis. That's my hometown. That will always be home to me. Okay. So we went to St. Louis. Now, she did not know I set this up before the trip. So on the day of our anniversary, we were at the hotel. We were hanging out there around lunchtime. And I told her I need to go downstairs. I made up some excuse. I need to go downstairs for something, right? And then I got downstairs and I was ready for her. So I called up to her on her cell phone. And I told her to come downstairs. And let me just show you the video of what happened when I brought her downstairs.
Hi.
Hi.
I got the camera.
You're filming.
All right, come here.
Why are you filming?
I'm filming you.
You're filming me. Why are we filming me?
Well, I'm going to hit the wall.
Yeah, I know.
All right, stand right there.
I'll stand right here.
All right. Turn around. Don't move. Okay. Just wait 1 second. Okay, come on around the corner. Come on out.
Yes.
Ready to go to lunch?
Yeah.
Huh? Look out the front door. Our ride is here.
Okay. He is up to no good. He is amazing. I'm telling you, he's the most amazing person I know.
That's why we've been...
Like another 10 years worth.
That's why we came back to the hotel. We have to
here.
get the walker out of our car, but then we'll be ready to go. Let's go on out and meet the limo driver.
Okay.
Okay?
And he's going to thank you. Oh, he's going to open the door. Oh, thank you.
I'll go out this side. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay.
Happy anniversary.
Okay, switching the camera over.
Is your dime?
All right.
Your dime. All right.
Tell me when to stop.
All right. Stop anytime. Hold on, I want to do some zooming here. Make sure I'm zoomed out. And hold up your dime. Hold up your dime. That's your dime. Okay. Zooming out. All right, you're going to throw it towards this way?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Happy anniversary.
Now, when I did this on our 10th wedding anniversary, I was thinking two things. One, really could not afford that. Okay. It was a little bit out of our budget. Okay. But, and I wanted to do it, on our 20th or 25th anniversary, but something told me to do it on the 10th. And I'm glad I listened to that because at our 20th wedding anniversary, she was about halfway through her cancer battle, and traveling was not on the menu, and we weren't able to travel because of her health. I am so grateful we made that memory, and I gave her a limo ride for our 10th wedding anniversary. I do not regret that, and that's probably my favorite wedding anniversary memory. Another one that I have um, is a wedding day. I mean, it was a beautiful experience for me. And maybe in a future video, I'll share a video of our wedding because I have it. I just got to digitize it. Anyway, it was a beautiful day. We had it at an Italian restaurant, and it was just wonderful. And then after the wedding, we went to a local hotel, rested for a little bit, and then we went to a minor league baseball game. Stayed in town that night. And the next day, we traveled to Sacramento, which was fun. I mean, and we spent some time together. I like being in big cities. We just traveled, walked around, saw sights, did a little shopping, that kind of thing. Just spent time together, and everyone left us alone, which I really loved. Um, Now, the first hotel we went to in Sacramento, we had a disabled room because at that point I was only able to get around in a wheelchair. I could not even fit in the doorway with the wheelchair into the bathroom. So we went down to the desk and said, that's not going to work. They were kind enough to give us some money back. We found another hotel that I was able to stay at. Actually, I think it's more of a motel. Anyway, but we had a great time in Sacramento. And as I'm talking about this right now, I'm visualizing us walking through one of the shopping areas in Sacramento, and I'm tearing up a little bit. So uh, let's talk a little bit about some of the traditions that we had together. That we had together. Now, of course, if you're going through your own grieving, your traditions may be different, and your marriage and relationship can be different. But like I mentioned earlier, most years we went to Applebee's. And we would travel many years, especially if it was on or around a weekend. We could turn it to a 3-day weekend. We would do that and travel and just get away and just have some time for us. And we loved staying. It did not happen during the honeymoon, okay. But later on, my wife made me open up the wallet and spend a few more bucks and stay at a Hilton, and we loved Hiltons. I think my favorites were the Embassy Suite in Tulsa. We spent a few anniversaries there, and we have spent some at Home Two Suites and also we will if it did not have a Hilton. This was our model. If it does not have a Hilton in town, we're not visiting. That was our model. But we would always spend time together, and usually we would go to Applebee's. The other thing is we have this tradition that came from the TV show Dinosaurs. I don't know if you remember the show from the 90s, but it's a great fun little series. Check it out. I think it's on Disney Plus. I'm not sure. Anyway, on the second season, they had an episode. I think it was episode 8, Unmarried with Children. And what happened was Earl and Fran, the parent dinosaurs, discovered that their wedding license had expired because back in their culture, every 20 years they had to pay $40 and renew it. And they took a quiz and Earl flunked it. I mean, majorly. Okay, so he did not get it. They worked it out, but at that moment they did not get the wedding, the marriage renewal. So each year, as a joke, we would say to one another, "Do you want to re-up our marriage license for another year?" And every year I said yes, and every year she said yes. This year, I'm willing to say yes. She's not here to say yes, and that does get to me. Now, also during this time, things that immediately bring Kimberly to mind include in just the time of the year. I mean, I'm one of these people that I notice the patterns of the sun, the shadows, and all, and I can think, I know what we were doing at this time of the year. Right now, I know it's coming up. I mean, I know that on the 6th is going to be the anniversary of our rehearsal dinner. And I remember that night. I remember the fun and the magic and some of the challenges we had that night. But I loved it. And that brings Kimberly to mind all the time. And I got stuff around this house in my office that reminds me of her constantly. Another thing that many autistic adults who are grieving a loss of a loved one, whether it be a spouse, significant other, parent, sibling, close friend, any other relative, it doesn't matter. We struggle between honoring the past and adapting to the present. This is something I'm struggling with, and not just this weekend. I've been struggling with since her passing. Some of the things that go through my mind right now is, do I keep the same anniversary traditions? Do I create new ones? Is it okay to do both? And I struggle with this because I wanted to keep the old tradition just the way they were without Kim, obviously, but that was a little hard for me. And I thought creating new ones would be disrespectful. So for me, the answer, and everyone's going to have a different answer, and that's cool. But for me, I decided to do both. What I plan to do on Sunday in the afternoon is I plan to try to dig up. I may not make it this year because it's like, I'm not kidding you, 30 boxes of stuff I got to digitize. And one of those boxes has the DVD of our rehearsal dinner and our engagement, rehearsal dinner, and the wedding. And I want to watch that. Then I want to have a full rack of ribs from Applebee's, which I'm going to have delivered here. I'm not quite ready to go to Applebee's without her, and it's not there yet. And then afterwards, there's like 5 episodes of According to Jim that she and I both enjoyed watching. And uh, the episodes start in season 4 with a hole in one, Dana's bachelorette party, Dana's wedding, and Case of Emergency, and um, I know what you need, Cheryl. You need a gay friend. Those are some of our favorite episodes. Oh, and there's also another one where um, Jim decides to wear a kilt. That's another funny one. And I plan to watch those that night in memory of her. So I'm keeping the tradition of Applebee's, but I'm adding some of my own because Kim can't be here. But I plan to while I'm eating the rack of ribs, because that's one of the things I would normally order. I love rack of ribs from Applebee's. Some of them are better than others, but I love them. And I'm not getting paid by Applebee's to mention the name, by the way. I plan to be looking at a picture, a photo of Kim, maybe even a video. Now, one thing that's comforting me, not just this weekend, and I do plan to do this on the anniversary, but I've done it on Memorial Day, is talking to Kimberly as she has passed. Now, if you're Christian, the Bible suggests, or may read in the Bible, that you should not communicate with the dead. And I did some research on this. And what it mainly means is don't try to have a conversation with them, summon them to a seance. Um, and this is for if you are a Christian and have the faith, that's fine. Or ask, like be Miss Cleo or a psychic and say, what's going to happen in the future? Will I ever become a millionaire? All those type of things. No, 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 no. When I talk about talking to Kim, I share with her what's going on in my life, my feelings, how much I miss her, how much I love her, how happy I am that she's no longer in pain, and how I'm looking forward. And don't think I'm suicidal because I'm not. How I'm looking forward to being reunited with her. I can't wait, but I will because I know there's stuff I need to do here, like grow this channel. So I know Kimberly isn't physically here, but sometimes I do sit outside and tell her what's happening in my life, share my feelings, my thoughts, my emotions, how much I miss her and how much I love her. And for me, it helps me stay connected to the love we shared. Now, every night around 9 o'clock in our house, we have the little Amazon devices go off and say, hey, Kimberly, please remind Chris to start the dishwasher. And then she would look at me and say, don't forget to start the dishwasher. And I would always say back to her, okay, dear, I got to start it, or I'm on my way to do it. I'll do it in a moment, whatever. I still do that when that little alert goes. I just can't turn off that alert. So I will say that to the AI, just out loud. I would do that, and every night, well, not every night, but most nights, every night when she was alive, since she got a cancer, we had this tradition, and I've done it almost every night since she passed away. Before we went to bed, I would say, "I love you." She would say, "I love you." I would say, "I love you more." She would say, "I love you more." I would say, "I love you bunches and bunches and bunches." And she would say, "I love you bunches and bunches and bunches." And now that she passed away, I added one more line to that. And I'll love you for eternity and beyond. That's what I do practically every night before I go to bed. And that helps me by grieving. Now, I want you to remember, if you're autistic and grieving, you may notice that important dates hit you differently. Like this anniversary is hitting me harder than, say, the anniversary of our first date. I don't know why. Maybe because this is really a very special day in our relationship. The day that we became one a couple, where I discovered the true meaning of the phrase, you better have. And like I was saying, it, if you're autistic and grieve, you may notice important dates hit you differently, and that's okay. There's no right timeline or no perfect way to navigate these moments. This anniversary is difficult for me because the relationship with Kimberly mattered significantly to me. In fact, I think since her passing, I'm even more aware of how much that relationship meant to me. When you have stuff around you, sometimes you take it for granted and you don't realize how special that is until it's gone. That's true. Now, I never took Kimberly for granted, but just I did not realize how special and blessed I was to have her in my life. So many people do not have good marriages and all. I was so blessed to be in the autism spectrum and have probably for me the most loving wife I could have had. I'm so grateful for God for putting us together. I have no interest whatsoever to be in another romantic relationship. Lightning is not going to strike twice, and I just don't. It's a little bit off topic, but I'm going to say it anyway. I just want to make sure that if I was, well, let me put it this way: I want to make sure that I'm respectful to her. I don't want to get into a relationship with somebody else and think to myself, well, Kimberly used to do it this way. Kimberly did it that way. Ooh, Kimberly never did it this way. And I like this better. I don't want to do that. I don't want to compare Kimberly to anyone else. So I will never again, get involved in a romantic relationship. That is a firm, definite decision. And remember, this is important. This is something I've learned by going to some grief support groups, reading some grieving books, research, and all I've done. Everyone grieves differently. Okay. Sometimes we expect people to grieve and expect them to cry. Sometimes we don't. It's okay. Everyone grieves differently. When I was a kid, my grandfather on my dad's side passed away. I was probably in sixth or seventh grade at the time. Now, I lived in St. Louis. My grandfather lived in California, and I had only seen him two, maybe three times in my life. And most of the time I was busy playing with my brother and just hi grandpa, and he was there and that was it. And my dad was crying and very upset, which makes sense. It was his dad. I did not cry. I got a little quiet, but I did not cry. And my dad yelled at me for not crying. That was wrong. Okay. Because everyone grieves differently. My dad had a different relationship with my grandfather than I did. And that's fine. It's fine if he cried a lot. I really did not know him that well, and it did not hit me that hard. So don't let others tell you how to grieve. And that's uh, for not only those in the audience who have autism, but that's for everyone, even our neurotypical friends. Nobody should tell you how to grieve. Okay, as long as you're not doing anything to harm yourself or harm someone else, grieve in whatever way works best for you. Now it's your turn. If you've lost someone important to you, what significant date has been the hardest to navigate? Is a wedding anniversary, an engagement date, your first date, maybe their birthday? I don't know. And what has helped you get through it? Because I need a little help getting through this week, and I'd love to hear if you've had a similar experience. What has helped you get through that? And maybe that will help me. So share your responses in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your community. New episodes of the Confident Autistic Journal drop every Friday, so be sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to receive notifications of new videos and when I go live. In the meantime, please check out this video that is coming up on your screen. And until next time, I am the Confident Autistic, reminding you to live confidently autistic.